This episode of the Gold Blooded Podcast is brought to you by MyBookie.ag. That's MyBookie.ag. MyBookie.ag. Join now and MyBookie will double your first deposit with promo code GOLDBLOODED. One word. GOLDBLOODED.
3rd and 3. We'll see a pickup sometime on the right side, possibly. Montana looking, throwing in the end zone. It's a madhouse at Candlestick.
Think we're done? We're just getting started.
Young almost falls down, throws to the end zone.
It will change, and I'm not trying to tell you something. It's going to change. It's not like that. Okay, but I want you to understand where I'm coming from. It will change. And it will change because they wanted to change, not because of me. It will change because they want to be champions.
Smith in a gun, the throw on his left hip. 3rd down, Alex takes the snap. Alex looking, got it, post, and it's got it! Touchdown, 40. Vernon Davis with the play of his life. It all comes to this 4th down. 4th and 4 at the San Francisco 10. Ryan in a shotgun, Rodgers to his left. 3 receivers right. Ryan takes the snap, looking, pressure, throws middle, broken up, fight it, Navarro Bowman, and the 49ers silence the house.
Hey everybody! Gold Blooded Podcast up in this bitch. 3 and motherfucking 0. How fucking good does it feel, Steve?
Rock hard.
Have you had sex with your significant other just based solely out of the fact that the 49ers are undefeated this season?
Like 8.5 times in the last 2 days.
Really?
I don't know what's better, the fact that he asked such an obvious question or the fact that you gave such an obvious fake answer and he was like, really?
Yeah. Like the half didn't throw him off.
What?
No. Stop. Obviously, I knew it was fucking horse shit, but what I'm saying is, like, why you gotta be smart about it?
I'm excited.
Well, show it in other ways than whatever this is. Go make love to your old lady. Do it in a jersey.
We're 3-0 right now.
I know, just cut a hole right where it hangs in front of your dick and poke. Poke and stroke, they call it.
Hang right
They call it. Who's they? No one's ever called it that. Not a human alive has ever called it that once. I would love to know who they are so I can avoid them at all costs.
Oh, fuck me. All right. Steve, I know you're fucking chomping.
I don't even know what you just said. A hole and poke?
Don't. Just move. Keep it moving, Steve.
Stroke and poke,
Keep it
you
moving.
fuckhead.
Stroke
You don't know the
and
stroke and poke?
Pretend that there's a person with a sign that says homeless and need help. And they're begging you for just keep it moving, Steve. Keep it moving.
Shit.
Pretend they don't exist.
I gotta know where you were before this.
My house.
It's fucking Mars, obviously.
I was here and there a little bit.
Okay.
I played 9 holes. Baby went out of town. I played 9 holes. Got a little loose on the course.
There's something there. 9 holes while baby's out of town. How many cats you have?
Easy. It's a sensitive subject right now. I would like to dedicate this podcast to Riri. And I'd like all the listeners to come together and send some positive healing vibes to Riri the cat. He's not doing so hot, and we can use some love. And also, Patreon / Gold Blooded Podcast.
Chris, I can't edit it once you have it up there. Can you type in the injuries Riri
Riri.
with a right eye injury
So I had to call a vet.
day to day?
Listen, I had to call a vet, and they were like, "What's his name?" I was like, "Riri." They were like, "Ray Ray." I was like, "Sure." I was like, "That's fine."
You should be like, short for retard.
Yeah.
But say it twice.
Yeah, retard, you know? Like, let's say with a stutter. All right, Steve. You could state injuries with a stutter now.
Okay, injuries. Trent Taylor, foot, he was placed on IR. I believe that happened last week. He will not be back until November, though, which is different from what we originally thought.
That was after the game this happened. After last podcast, before the game.
Okay.
Sorry.
Originally, we thought that he was probably coming back right after the bye, but nope.
Did you see him come running out of the tunnel and almost tackle Dante Pettis?
I did.
As a victory? Yeah, somebody it was on some clip of Rooney.
So
Clipper Rooney.
I can't wait till we get to the bottom of this list. But going on to offensive lineman Sam Young. We signed him. Have we released him and signed him like 3 times by now?
I thought he was only signed once.
I thought somebody picked him up when we released him, but I guess not.
Okay.
He's a veteran offensive lineman. He's just a backup plan.
Yeah.
Just in case something happens to school is my guess.
Jimmy Ward did not play in week 3, still dealing with the finger. I think he could play if we needed him to play. I believe he
was
could.
inactive.
Yeah.
And Verrett was active, so I have to feel like he's not ready to go.
He's either not ready to go or we don't need him right now, or we didn't need him.
Or they thought Verrett was going to do better than he did.
Well, I've got a Verrett thing to talk about, but we'll do that when we do the defense.
Obviously.
Okay, Papa.
Jalen Hurd, we are hoping to get him back after the bye.
You heard
with
me?
The back injury. Now, if you heard Shanahan's presser, he actually said that he has a hairline fracture in his back, which was new news. Before, we just thought it was stiffness or back tightness. Didn't know it was a hairline fracture in his back. So he said that it was a lot more serious than they originally thought, but they are hoping to get him back after the bye week. Tevin Coleman, hoping to get him back after the bye week, coming off the high ankle sprain. I think that's a little bit of a stretch.
Do we need him back?
No, we don't need him. We don't need McKinnon. We just, I hate to say that now and then all of our fucking guys die, but seriously, why do we have so much money spent in fucking
Agreed.
Tevin Coleman?
Agreed.
D Ford played a very limited amount of snaps last week, and he will be week to week dealing with the hamstring issue.
We should have just not paid them and restructured somebody and paid them more.
Keller Witherspoon got injured in the game. He will be out for at least a month dealing with a foot sprain. Shanahan said that
bad news.
Going to end up going to see a foot specialist. Long snapper. Another long snapper transaction.
This is bizarre.
John Kondo retired after being with the team for a week, and I guess he informed Shanahan and Lynch that his heart wasn't in it.
Oh, I read something. They said the guy before him, it was a timing issue with him.
Yeah. Robbie Gould didn't like him for some reason.
Yeah, they said his timing was off.
He said, fuck this guy, get him out of here.
They say it's all Robbie Gould.
Yeah?
They say he's a little bit...
a little bit of a diva?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah?
That's what it sounds
little
like.
Little bit.
And if he keeps hitting field goals...
Fuck it.
Diva it up.
Who's next on the long snapper list? See you fucking later, jerk off.
We really just got to get to week 7 or whatever it is. When Kevin Nelson gets back or whatever, because they have a...
Maybe that's why they signed him to so much money, and Robbie Gould's like, no, you're signing this guy.
Yeah.
When he's suspended, no, you're signing this guy to 10 years.
They have a working relationship. Hold on, I got to open my treats here.
Why do I have to hold on?
Well, no, because everybody's going to hear that noise, and I don't want to be a dickhead.
So we signed long snapper Garrison Sanborn.
Another veteran.
Yeah.
So he'll be there for 3 days, or 3 weeks, hopefully, and then Nelson's back.
Oh, well, who knows? If they hit it off and Gold likes him better, Kyle Nelson might be told to fuck off.
Be a hell of a reach around.
We already extended him, though.
See you later.
Be a hell of
just as quick.
We clearly don't give a fuck about, wasting money, McKinnon.
How much of it was guaranteed? That's the real question.
True.
Puppy.
And then we got Riri the cat, right eye injury, day to day, possibly dead soon.
Here's my thoughts on that. Listen, even if they had to take the eye, I would be fine. But I can't lose him.
Would you rename him?
No.
You know you're probably going to outlive him, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's only 8.
Yeah, no, I understand. I'm just
right now is not a time that we could be really losing. We need the
That's fair.
right. We need him. We need the team at full strength.
You realize that you're probably going to outlive your cat.
Probably. Let's be real, Steve. Anything could happen.
Smart.
Anything's possible, right? I mean, cats do have 9 lives.
This actually kind of semi-transitions into what I wanted to interrupt with. I got to tell you, the listeners, and everybody something about what happened this weekend. Baby and I watched 2 children And then 3 children alone, unsupervised, for hours.
Ages?
Well, at one point, Baby and I had a 4-year-old and a 1.5 maybe year old for an hour in a Mystic City.
Mystic, like whimsical.
No, Mystic, like
So in the town of Mystic.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
A Mystic
A
City.
Mystic City. I was thinking like Peter Pan. Jesus Christ.
So we took that. My sister had to go to a wedding, so we took the two littlest ones were not allowed in, so we took them for candy. We watched the boats.
You took a 1.5-year-old for candy.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Maybe she's.
Let them swim in the pool.
Maybe no. They had dresses on.
My first thought was somebody obviously doesn't care all that much about their children.
No.
My
That was
sister's
my
a
first
great
thought.
Mother.
Then my second thought is pretty much anyone can watch 2 children if they're just taking them to get candy and watch boats. Like, I mean, there's not many people. If it was like a short period of time, I was like, here's a bunch of candy.
Hold on.
There's some boats going by. You can handle this, you know?
Okay, hold on. Stand by.
Is this a long story?
Nope.
Okay.
First of all,
He's chopping at the bit. You
No.
may want to save this for episode 2.
No, he's gonna get it now. He's encroaching my goddamn style yet again.
Encroaching?
That's right. I'll be quick with it. So, later on in the evening, we had to pick the children up. I had to put all 3 of them in the car seats. I had to drive them
Jesus.
to the house.
This already happened, right?
Yeah.
I'm getting nervous. I'm glad it already happened.
10
and everything
miles,
went well.
10 miles away. Baby followed me in our vehicle. You know, I drove the vehicle equipped for that. We took them out. We put them into the beds. They were already in their bed clothing, but we put them into the beds. We put them down for the evening. We held it the fuck down
Wow.
for hours. So,
That's
point
pretty
of
good.
this story.
You're getting your vasectomy reversed.
No.
Did they fall asleep on the ride home?
No.
Oh.
No.
All right.
No, they were partying. And then things got a little crazy because it was like 2 beds in a room, and in the middle was the a crib because it was an Airbnb. And so they were fighting over who they were pulling the crib back and forth with the little child in it because I want it closer. I want it closer. So I had to put my fucking foot down like a fucking. I said, I'm not your parents. I don't tolerate this. They didn't understand that. But they seem to stop sooner or later.
I might not be your parents, but I'm daddy.
But the point of this was, if there's ever an emergency, we can handle it.
All right.
I couldn't do it by myself. I need her, same as she needs me. But as a team, we could watch children in a pinch.
I'm pretty sure my oldest could probably coach you through the rest of it.
Yeah.
Like my oldest could coach a babysitter through. Like anything that needs to be done.
Well,
or like,
again,
this is where this is.
Well,
and
again, there's
this
certain
is when we
ways
do
that
this,
you guys
and-
do things.
Yeah,
correct, right?
And my
Which I
oldest
don't
is
know. Yeah.
very. He could coach you through it.
Regardless, I did way better than expected. There was no blood. There was minimal tears. Very, very minimal
Cool.
tears.
I'll keep that in mind next time we need a babysitter.
No. I mean, just like if, your wife broke her foot or something, and you had to take her to the hospital. I'm not looking to do some shit like that. I just
If
don't.
my wife broke her foot, she'd probably drive herself to the
I
hospital.
know.
and I'd stay
I
home
was a
with the
bad.
kids.
I didn't want to go too far over the edge, but I wanted to keep it middle of the road. All right, Steve. I know you're so excited because you won the prediction game, and it was not on a 49er loss. So good for you, you fucking cunt, because you nailed it dead nuts, right?
24-20.
Right, Bobo?
He did.
He did. He nailed it dead fucking nuts.
So are you ready to talk about the biggest win that we've had in the past 5 years? How can you you can't refute that. It's the biggest win we've had in the past 5 years.
Why?
Name one better. Name a better win than the one that just happened.
The Rams game last year. Or beating Seattle last year for the first time in how long?
When we were 3-10.
Okay, so you beat us. Listen, I'm not trying to take anything away from the loss, Steve, but I think you're a little off basis there. You're a little too high on beating a team with a first-year quarterback.
He's not first year.
Okay, well,
This is his first start.
Yeah.
Yes.
If Ben Roethlisberger was playing, we didn't win that game.
Right. I would probably
100
agree.
million%.
I
And
don't
you
know.
can't argue that.
He
probably
looks
agree with
terrible in
It
week
doesn't.
1 and week 2.
It doesn't matter. That guy's
Again,
first start.
5
there's
turnovers.
no way we win.
Yeah. Steve, I'm not trying to take anything
You
away.
can't turn the ball over twice in the first quarter in their red zone.
Right.
And not, they get 2
He
field
would have got,
goals. Like, there's no
Roethlisberger
way.
would have got,
Not Roethlisberger.
He would have got 1 at least, yeah.
And I'm not saying it's not huge. It's great.
Yeah,
3-0 is great. But
I'm agreeing.
I'm going to slow down on the biggest.
Good, agreed.
What's a bigger one?
I don't have 5 seasons games in front of me to pick from.
I just gave you 2.
It's the
Well-
biggest I remember in the last 6 days.
I mean, Tom Sula didn't have a signature win. Chip Kelly didn't have a signature win.
Beating
and-
the Seahawks last year,
I hope this is not a signature win.
because we have not beaten the Seahawks in how long? How many years?
It was a very long time. Sure, that was a big win, but we weren't even in playoff contention. I mean,
Well, Steve, that's your opinion. I guess that just comes down to
that's
opinion.
the only arguable game. So,
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to look through all
Again,
of them.
yeah,
and I'm not trying to take away from it. I think I'm just sick of hearing the same thing over and over again about the win. Like, yes, these are games that we've lost the last 5 years. This game is a loss the last 5 years, and that's what's exciting about it. Like, it's not like we should have smashed the shit out of Mason Rudolph and that fucking Pittsburgh Steelers team. And this win, it's huge because we're 3-0. We're going into a bye. We would have lost that game in the past, but the problem with that game is I look at that game and go, we're not going to the fucking Super Bowl this year.
right.
Because against a good team, that's a blowout the other way.
Oh yeah,
You
Sure.
play that way against the Rams, the Packers, the
Seahawks
Saints,
even.
the Seahawks. I can name 10 teams,
Patriots,
and we
yeah.
get blown the fuck
Yeah.
out.
Now, when you
it's
say-
positive, it's a positive step because that same game last year, we lost.
yeah.
Like, we lost, no doubt about it.
But
so
when
it's
you
great.
say play like that, you're mainly talking about the 5 turnovers.
Yeah, and the criticalness of the turnovers and the way that they happened.
Yes.
Like, it wasn't just
But-
like flukes.
But
Like,
all
some of
of
those
the
were bad.
all of the turnovers could be very easily corrected.
Agreed.
Like,
Oh, no, it's very positive because if you fix those problems, we're 100% a Super Bowl team.
from start
Immediately.
from start to finish, there wasn't a single moment in time where you didn't think that the 49ers were the superior team.
For sure. For
Like-
sure. 100%. 100%.
And the Pittsburgh Steelers, say what you... I mean, I've griped about Mike Tomlin for long enough. I think he's overrated. But it's still Mike Tomlin, and it's still the Pittsburgh Steelers fighting for their playoff lives. And the Pittsburgh Steelers have been known as the bullies on the block for a very long time, a very respected team that you see week in and week out. Regardless of who's playing at quarterback, that is a proud organization that usually wins football games.
I mean, I think anyone that looks at that roster doesn't look at them like the Steelers of the...
agreed.
Fair enough, but
You know,
their
like, they're-
defense is good.
It's good, but it's not like it was.
No, I
mean,
do think their defense
there's-
got better.
There's no Palomalu. There's
Oh,
those guys
yeah,
that
that's
like...
going back a ways.
But like those were the guys that made it like
Sure.
oh, fuck, you know. And it's like I said, there's huge benefits to that win because I look at it and go, if we fix the dumb shit, we're a Super Bowl team tomorrow.
my attitude takeaway from this game is that the 49ers are officially back. That doesn't mean that they're even going to win a playoff game this year. That doesn't mean that they're even going to win a Super Bowl in the next 5 years. But every single week, you better bring your best to beat this 49ers
That's fair.
team because they are back.
The problem I had with it is week 1 looked like this game.
Yes.
A little rusty, a little off, like, but positive still, like, okay, this team has something. And then week 2 was like, that's what it looks like. And then week 3 was like a step back to week 1. Like, if we played like we did in week 2, we would have blown them out even worse than Cincinnati.
Oh yeah, it would have been yeah.
So we just need to get there. But I agree. And I'm not afraid to play anyone now. Mm-hmm. I don't know that we're going to win every game, but I'm ready to watch them play the Rams, and I'm ready to watch them play the Seahawks, and I'm ready to watch them play
I gotta
those
tell you,
teams.
looking at the schedule now, after getting through a couple games and seeing how this team is built and what they're built for, nobody really scares me, and we could have a really strong. I think this team is going to get better as the season goes as well, especially as the offense comes together and the defense for that matter. But by the time where it really starts to matter, we could be looking at like a 10-2 situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not that the schedules. I mean, we got some tough ones. Don't get me wrong, but 10-2, down the stretch isn't a crazy place to be in if you look at the schedule.
And we don't know what we're going to get out of Hurd, and we don't know what we're going to get out of Taylor. So it could get way better, for sure.
See, all right, well, we'll get into the offense right here. Off the top, we had 436 total yards, 268 passing, 168 rushing. We went 6 for 11 on third down. We went 3 for 6 in the red zone. We allowed 1 sack, 8 quarterback hits, and 3 tackles for a loss, so they were coming after him.
Did you see everybody saying how Jimmy loves to get hit, like Richard Sherman said it?
Yeah, I did see that. But
Yeah, let's slow down on that.
yeah, let's take it easy. But I will say, I mean, fumbles are fumbles. Fumbles are going to happen. A running back fumbling the football is not an exact picture of Kyle Shanahan. It's not a picture of this offense and how it functions. Fumbles are solely on the running back. Bobbled balls are not a broken offense. Bobbled balls are, you got to get better at your job, or whoever bobbled the ball. Passes off your fingertips, shit happens. But this offense was crisp from start to finish, regardless of the turnovers.
Well, they moved the ball great.
Yes, this offense was so crisp that the score should have been fucking 48-20.
Well, Garoppolo was crisp.
Yes.
He was on 100%. If he plays like that week in, week out, the fucking sky's the limit.
I do not want to hear about Mullins again.
And I also don't want to hear,
Who said Mullins?
every person that ever thinks about Garoppolo
A lot of people on the internet.
thinks about his contract, and that's
Our
how they're
audience.
judging him. But what was that, his 12th start?
Garoppolo?
Yeah.
Yeah, 11th or 12th.
If any quarterback in the league in their 12th start played that fucking game, it would be the talk of everything.
Yes.
It would be the talk of everywhere, everything, every how. If Daniel Jones plays that game in his 12th game come week 15 or whatever, it's going to be all over everything. Mm-hmm. It's just because he got paid a lot of money, which means nothing to nobody.
No. Nope. So, deep dive into the offense. I mean, the first pass from Jimmy is high and behind Kittle, who ends up making the catch, but this is officially a trend. Jimmy early throws high and behind his receivers. It has been 4 weeks in a row now, going back to the preseason.
Whoa, you got his tell. Don't be marking out.
Okay. I don't think the opposing team's listening
Browns
to the
are
Gold Blood
listening.
podcast.
So I write the stats down, right, for the piece of the week. And when you said 268, I'm like, I got Garoppolo 277. Look at the stats on our passing on ESPN.com.
Yeah.
Garoppolo, how many yards?
277.
The team,
The team
right below that. The total, right below 277.
268. That because they take away yards for sacks.
Correct.
Sacks are negative yards for a quarterback.
So, but why would it be in his stat as 277 then? If it's a negative, like, shouldn't it be 268 on both?
Well, because
so weird.
because they want to tell you like he actually threw the ball for 277 yards, but he took a 9-yard sack.
So they take that off of
Yes.
the team stats,
Well,
but
yeah.
Garoppolo gets to keep the 9.
I don't know. I guess
So
that
weird.
is kind of weird.
First of all, a sack should not take away from passing yards.
Agreed. It
It
should
should
take
be
away
negative
rushing
rushing
run.
yards. It doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah. Agreed.
What a fucking wacky.
So, opening drive, Shanahan calls for a play action fake reverse running back screen to Matt Breida, which actually set up very nicely, and Jimmy's pass is a little bit behind where it should have been. Breida bobbles the ball for about a straight 30 seconds and can't haul it in, and that ends up getting intercepted. That was the first turnover.
So, before, when you guys said we don't need Jerick McKinnon and we don't need Tevin Coleman, that play is what those two guys are for.
Yeah.
That's what they're for. They don't drop that ball.
Then Pettis did hit.
I don't know
Pettis
if-
did bobble one too.
No, he didn't bobble one. He's a cunt,
Yeah, he handed.
is what he did. He didn't try to catch it. And obviously someone lit him up, which is why he caught the next one.
The touchdown was a nice grab.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
I disagree on the Pettis miscatch.
He did not attack the ball.
I didn't see it that way. I thought
Pull
it.
up the play. He 100% did not attack the ball.
I saw
and
it.
somebody coached him because on the touchdown, that's exactly why he caught the ball. He attacked the ball instead of waiting for the ball.
Yeah. No, I just saw it differently. I thought it glanced off his fingertips. I thought the throw was a little bit in front of him.
It wasn't
Jimmy,
perfect.
Jimmy was rushed to throw it. It wasn't a picture perfect.
By far, was not
accurate
perfect.
pass.
100%.
And I saw it glance off his fingertips, and it got tipped up, and it got picked off.
Not a number one.
Oh no.
That's not how number one catches
No.
a ball. And like you said on the first play, Kittle catches that ball
On
and
that-
then mows a guy over.
In that specific interception, I kind of chalked that up as a shit happens turnover. I didn't really chalk that up as a you're a fucking idiot turnover.
I was ready to send Pettis packing.
Oh,
after that.
sure. At the time, remember? I
was done.
I had Chris over. I go, Chris, look who it fucking is. It's fucking Pettis.
I typed it into the group chat and I was like, nope.
On a rewatch, I came away with a different take.
Pussy. He's a pussy.
Okay.
That's where I was at before the touchdown.
You could, and I think it speaks to him about the emotion. You know, he was really. Did you guys watch that video I sent when?
No, I've been meaning to. I haven't gotten around to it yet.
Dante Whitner says.
I'm over him. Done with him.
Yeah. So Whitner says, "What's the Shanahan? Give this guy a break, man. Give Pettis a break. You know, take him out the shit list, man, or whatever." Dante Pettis looks like he wants to crawl inside of himself and die because, you know, it's clearly a touchy subject. And here's fucking Dante Whitner making it public, you know, right in front.
Let us not forget that Dante Whitner legally changed his name
to Hittner.
to Hittner so that his jersey would say Hittner on the back. Does anyone take this guy seriously? How is he an announcer now? How is he like an actual
I like
analyst?
Dante Whitner. I think he's well spoken.
His name to Hittner.
Should have changed
Yeah,
it
but
to
he's just
Hitler.
not. Anybody can be well spoken.
I think he's
It doesn't mean
well-spoken
what you're
and he-
delivering is good information.
I think he knows the game.
Well, he played NFL football. Of course, he knows the game. I mean,
There's a lot of guys who played NFL football 12 years ago that think they know the game.
I listened to him the first 2 times he was on, like the podcast stream, and then I was like, okay, I'm done. Can't listen to him anymore.
You know what I find funny?
Hittner.
Everyone
Hittner.
has said, "Oh, the Niners have played a weak schedule. You know that you beat somebody. You know you want to beat somebody, you got to beat somebody." The Patriots now they're 3-0, and people are saying their actual odds for winning the Super Bowl have improved, but they've beaten teams with a combined record of 0-9. The
Yeah,
team,
but
yeah,
They're
Yeah,
the
but they're-
fucking Patriots.
I
But they've
know.
also
I know.
dominated every victory.
I know, but
They weren't one not touchdown away from losing to the fucking Mason Rudolph Steelers
Yeah.
at home.
I get it. You cannot expect
It's not the
everyone.
same.
I love that we're still under the radar. I love that
Yeah,
people still have the Niners outside of the top 10 of the power rankings. I think
But-
that's fucking great.
But every team the Patriots have played have been outclassed. Like, it wasn't even a game.
I know.
So eventually, Jimmy starts settling in and getting some first downs. He's looking sharp. The running game's working well, and then Mostert mishandles the toss that puts us in a 2nd and 28 situation. That would have, should have, maybe in another day would have been another turnover. Still in the first quarter, and we turn the ball over for the 3rd time. Jimmy is rushed to get a pass out to Dante. Oh yeah, we already talked about that. The huge diving catch by Juszczyk. I didn't think he was getting there.
Oh, what about the stiff arm, baby?
Stiff arm was nice. And I think that every once in a while he'll have a game like this where he'll show up in the passing game and people will go like, "Oh yeah, Juszczyk," and then he'll go quiet for a few games in the passing game and
But it's
people
just how
wonder
they,
why we
you
pay
know,
him.
it's all about how they scheme it. You know what I
If
mean?
you literally watch what this dude brings in the run game every single week, you would understand why we paid him.
Yeah,
Oh, he's
I
solid.
get it. Yeah, I never questioned that.
I'm talking to the audience, Joe, not you.
Well, I feel like you're attacking me.
Definitely not. You know when I'm attacking you.
Oh, do I?
You will.
Oh, yeah, please, you subtle cunt.
And then
Over here crimping my style.
okay, so this what to me was the play of the game from Jimmy. Oh, maybe not 'cause the final play of the game, but this is one of the plays of the game from Jimmy that stands out and literally says, "I'm a fucking franchise quarterback." You got 12 minutes if you want to go watch it. 12 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the second. Jimmy stands strong in the pocket, knowing he's about to get demolished, and throws an absolute dart to Marquise Goodwin. That is what franchise quarterbacks do. Please go watch that play if you haven't yet. Literally gets demolished and delivers a
And
dime.
he's done that since he got here,
Yeah.
knowing it's coming, but seeing just got to wait a second.
That is the difference between franchise quarterbacks and guys that can win a few games but eventually just shit out.
That's the difference between Jimmy and CJ.
Oh no, CJ will stand in there forever.
No. Just yeah.
So first play, second quarter, Mostert gets a carry that puts us deep into the red zone before fumbling as he gets tackled around the 10-yard line. That was our third turnover.
Jessica was in the kitchen cooking, and I would be so excited 1 minute, and then the fucking screams of disgust that came 5 times on all the fucking turnovers.
It felt like a joke.
Yeah, it really did. It was hard.
You want to hear a little story about my watching the game?
Yeah.
So I got home late. I was at my sister's. I got home late. I had to watch on a pause. I had to take a shower. I was dirty. So I paused the game. So I went dark. No phone, no nothing. And
So you were behind.
in the first, right when it started, I caught up pretty quick though. And then in about the second quarter, maybe towards the end of the first, my family comes home. They had been at a birthday party for another child. And my kids get in the bathtub. And my wife goes down the hall to get some clothes for them when they get out of the bath. And she comes out of their bedrooms and she says, you need to come down here right now. And she is very serious. She takes me by the arm and leads me down the hallway. Walks me into my son's room. Do you know what a stink bug is?
I don't.
Yes.
It looks kind of like a beetle or a moth, like
Okay.
a combination
Yeah.
of both. It's like a flying
Does it
bug.
smell?
Little flat.
Yes, they're
Yeah.
flat.
Yeah, their defense is a smell. They put off a smell so that
Okay.
other
Yeah, I know.
things won't
I
attack them.
didn't realize. Yeah, I know now.
their rooms were infested.
Oh my God.
What?
So
Stink bugs.
How many? Give me a number.
when I tell you, I lost count vacuuming them up at 65.
And they were dead.
Holy shit.
No. Alive. Now, mind you, my kids had spent the night at my sister's.
All right.
So it's been 24 hours since they were in there.
Yeah.
The day before, remember last week I was talking about my Wi-Fi having issues?
Yeah.
So the night before I went and unplugged, we had all these plug-in ultrasonic pest repellent things. I went and unplugged them all to see if my Wi-Fi would get better. So those had been off for a day. Nobody was in those rooms for a day. I lost count at 65. There was plenty more than that. All my windows in my house, I have pull down blinds with no cords. You just pull down and push it back
Right.
up.
Yeah.
They have like a pocket of air through the middle of them.
I
Like
know.
you can,
Yes.
You can like see through it.
Correct.
Full. Blinds were like, there was maybe 20 in the blinds.
What the fuck?
So I had to take the blinds down and use my air compressor to shoot these bugs out of the. So I realized that my windows, I don't
This
have.
is during the game.
I'm on pause. I pause it to go see what she's showing me, right? So now my kids, I don't want them to see this because they won't go in their rooms,
Right.
So she's distracting them, taking the longest bath 2 kids have ever fucking taken, and I'm
They're
vacuuming.
pruned
I've
the
got
fuck
a handheld
up.
vacuum and I'm vacuuming stink bugs.
Yeah.
One at a time, all throughout these 2 rooms. Then I have to take the blinds off, get them outside, so now the kids can go in there because the bugs are gone. I have to use an air compressor to get the bugs out of the blinds. Then I realized, so my windows, when you move them up and down, it's not sealed. There's like
Right.
an opening in between here and here. You get what I'm saying? But the storm windows are like one piece that you put on or take off. My old house, they were slide up and slide down. So when you put an air conditioner in, you slid the window down.
Right.
These, you can't do that. So I had to like fill those. I have to fill those gaps with styrofoam or insulation or something. Now we've had a small bug problem all along. Like there'd be a moth in there. I'd be like, where are these coming from? So at least we solved that problem. But apparently, plug-in pest control ultrasonic.
The ones that we
they
were talking
actually
about,
work
yeah,
really
yeah,
well. Like it was one day of not having them, and the whole house was
That's
infested.
crazy, man.
Yeah. So then,
Did you
by the
Google
time
like why they come or anything?
no, it's just First of all, they're not indigenous to this continent.
No,
Someone accidentally introduced them in like 1998.
of course.
Like we didn't even have them here
Really?
until then. Somewhere in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, 'cause they're
And then
little-
now
they're
but they're
little
like
cunts.
they're not like it's not like a reportable bug, so
Right.
nobody cares. So then they just keep coming, you know.
Yeah.
So I didn't watch the rest of the game. I mean, this had to take, I don't know, 45 minutes,
Yeah.
something like that, to deal with this whole thing.
At least.
So now I'm totally not looking at my phone. I can hear like ESPN like going off. So I
Yeah.
shut that off. I put my phone away, and I didn't catch up until like maybe the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter.
Oh, wow.
But so I got to skip halftime. I got to skip every commercial break, so it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my watching experience.
Yeah, that sucks real quick. When I lived in Black Rock the first time with Hutter, we went away for the weekend, we came back. There were about 600 in all the windowsills. There was at least 100 in each windowsill, dead black flies. I don't know how they got in, and I don't
And
know.
then died.
I don't know why they died, but they're in all the windows and windowsills. It was insane. All right, Steve, you're up.
I'm up. All right, so
You know, at the end of a hard week, it's great to sit down, take some time off, and watch some football.
Football.
game-winning touchdowns on 2-minute drives, running backs
God.
racing down the sidelines with no one to stop them.
Oh, trucking them.
There is just nothing else like the NFL.
NFL.
And there's no better way to make the games even
More
more exciting than to bet on them.
So do the smart thing and go to mybookie.ag.
AG.
No one gives you more ways to win than they do.
My bookie got the fastest payouts and better lines than any other sports book.
Don't forget,
Where you're betting it is just as important as who you're betting on. I'd argue more important.
That's goddamn right.
And
Nobody can speak
MyBookie-
to that.
.ag is the best in the business. It's where I play and where you should too.
I wouldn't be telling you guys to bet with them if they weren't the best.
These are the core talking points. Do the smart thing. If you're going to bet this football season, bet with mybookie.ag.
If you're the kind of guy that likes to bet a little and win a lot, try a parlay. If all your picks come through, you'll multiply your winnings. And no matter how you bet, the NFL season is the best time of the year.
I'd like a parfait.
Yeah.
Maybe a parlay parfait.
Like
Parlay
from
parfait.
Mickey, like 3 of them.
Yeah. Join now and MyBookie will double your first deposit. Use promo code
Gold-blooded. To activate the offer. That's promo code
Gold-blooded.
Gold-blooded.
Visit mybookie.ag today.
You play?
You win.
You get paid.
It's really hard to talk when you say the same thing that I'm about to say. It's so hard to concentrate. I lose it.
Sorry. I was just
My
try-
attention span is like, oh,
I haven't done this in a while. You gotta premeditate the pause for him.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
we'll get
I
there.
was.
We'll get there.
I was trying. I was. Maybe it's my fault. I was trying something new. I was trying to give like dramatic effect to a certain word, you know. Like, but my bad.
that was our week one. Hopefully next week we're more like the Cincy game.
I'm sure we will.
Oh, shareful.
So at the 7-yard line, there's a bad snap exchange from Richburg. That's the 4th turnover of the half.
Oh yeah.
And the second one in the red zone, in scoring position. We eventually get the ball back midway through the third. It's a 3rd and 1 at the goal line, and offensive line does a great job getting their blocks, and Jeff Wilson in for the touchdown. 3rd and 7, just outside the red zone. Jimmy throw.
Did you pick him up on your fantasy team,
Of course I did.
Jeff Wilson?
Of course I did. 2 weeks ago. Where you been?
Oh, I don't know. You know, not living in the reality world.
Did you have him on the bench again this week?
Yes.
Yeah. You got to ask the right questions, Joe.
Jimmy-
He doesn't have trust in him. Just because he picked him up doesn't mean shit.
Jimmy threads the needle to
He probably
Bourne
started Adrian Peterson.
and converts a 22-yarder, which sets up another Wilson touchdown. This was second of the day.
I started Saquon
He'll
Barkley.
start him next week and they'll fucking inactive him.
Exactly. That's what I'm worried about. Or we just won't get inside the 10-yard line, and we'll score everything from the 20. Debo drops a deep shot, and
Oh, it was so fucking close.
it's so easy to look at things that didn't go well and say, like, I don't know if I would have liked that, but it's hard to look at things that did go well and say, I don't know if I like that. Regardless, I did not like that call, that decision by Kyle or Jimmy, whoever made that. It's first down. You've been moving the ball with ease literally all day, and you take a deep shot in a double coverage on first down? Like, why? You've been running the ball down their throats all day long, and you take a deep shot in double coverage on first down.
I think that's the gunslinger in Jimmy.
I mean,
It's going to be there. Every once in a while, he's going to do that.
Debo almost made the catch.
Yeah, I think that's the gunslinger in Jimmy, and he's going to do that every once in a while, and sometimes it's going to go really well, and sometimes it's going to go really bad.
Really
I haven't seen it go really well once. There was that random
Yeah.
deep shot in the Cincy game that got picked
That
off.
was the one, if Debo caught that.
Like,
He did, and he caught it, too.
he
That's
pretty
the
much did
worst
catch
part.
it.
He had it.
All the rules analysts, all the rules analysts said that that's not overturnable either way. Like, if it
Okay.
was called a catch, it's staying a catch.
Here's a tidbit for you. I don't know if you heard the broadcasters, but did you know that series where we took the deep shot and first down and then blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
we ended up
You ready for
going
this,
3 and
Joe?
out?
Listen to this.
That was our first 3 and out of the season.
The season.
I did know that.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that
that's-
makes you hard.
That's wild. After
That makes you hard.
Yeah, the fact that they made it out, I didn't consider that 2 games.
You know what makes that good is that our defense is our strong side of the ball.
Yes.
Like, whoa, you can smell it.
So
What the Rock is cooking?
just to put a little note on that. I mean, Justin's school goes largely unnoticed up until the fourth quarter, where he commits back-to-back penalties that puts us in a 2nd and 26 situation.
Right after the announcers talked about how he's gone unnoticed, that was nice of them.
Yep. Midway through the fourth, 3rd and goal, Richie James goes in motion as if we're running a jet sweep or even a fake. And the ball gets snapped late, and it hits James in the face, causing the 5th turnover of the day. 3rd turnover in scoring position.
It was a fake.
It was going to... Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was going to actually go through, be a fake, but...
No, it was... Shanahan said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, he said it was one of those fake jet sweeps, and the timing was off.
And that is a turnover that you can definitively put on Jimmy. He did not snap the ball soon enough.
That's like
no,
fucking 3.
I forget what Shanahan said. It's a cadence and timing thing. So I don't know if it was Richie James went too soon, or Shanahan said it's supposed to get snapped when he's at the tackle, but it got snapped when he was under center. Like I don't know who he blamed. He didn't really blame, but it's definitely something that they can say, this is your fault. You need to do better at it.
But he makes up
Too bad
for
it
it.
wasn't the long snapper. We could have said that's why.
Right? He makes up for it. 3rd down. It is late in the game. He escapes 2 sacks and throws an incomplete ball into the end zone, but he stayed alive long enough for a penalty to be called in the secondary that gave us a fresh set of downs.
That was one of the best plays I've seen Jimmy Garoppolo make.
And it wasn't even a completed pass.
Because he threw it away. He didn't force it somewhere that would get picked off.
No, he
And
threw it right to
didn't-
Pettis. Like that was a very catchable ball.
The one he threw through the end zone?
No.
That's the one I'm talking
No,
about.
you're talking about the other escape. Yeah.
Where every time we've seen him do it, he throws it to somewhere where it's dangerous.
Yeah.
And instead, he threw it through the end zone, didn't take a sack, stopped the clock, didn't. And I was like, that's what you need to do.
Yeah,
That's a good job.
There was that one, and then this one came, I think, 2 or 3 plays later, where he escaped 2 sacks and he threw a ball to Pettis, but it was knocked away by good
Defensive
defense.
holding.
And there was defensive holding on, I believe, George Kittle, pretty unrelated to the play. So we got kind of lucky there, and it gave us a fresh set of downs at, I believe, the 5-yard line or the 7-yard
I
line.
remember that. Yeah, Papa.
And to bring it home, it's 2nd and goal, down by 3 with 1:40 left in the game, and the offense rushes up to the line, which was surprising. They rushed up to the line and snapped it immediately. Jimmy throws a strike to Dante Pettis for the game-winning touchdown, and Pettis shows his toughness on this play, fighting his way back to the ball, and it just showed that he wanted it more than the defenders on that given play.
Did you do the cat celebration?
No,
He
I
didn't
was
either.
I was in a waiting room at
He
the
didn't
vet.
I know.
If
right.
he can play like that every down, then
Yeah, right? True. He just brought up a good point. It would have been very appropriate to do a cat celebration at the vet in the waiting room.
that was how a number 1 wide receiver goes and gets a ball.
Yeah.
I mean, you said if you could play like that every down,
How about the
that'd be great.
trust?
I'd be yes, that's crazy, but I'd be happy with like 75 to 80% of the time.
Yeah, I'd be happy with more than once this
e-
season.
Exactly. Yeah, the trust is what's crazy after all the
After everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jimmy-
that's what everybody says, but we've seen Garoppolo throw into fucking
Right.
quadruple coverage. I don't think it's trust.
Did you hear
I
what
think it's
Ji-
just a gunslinger quarterback.
Did you
trying to
hear
win a
what Jimmy
football
said
game.
about it though to the press? He said, "I know you guys don't see this and you don't want to talk about it, but Dante busts his ass in practice and he makes those plays, and I know he's capable of it."
That's
So-
super easy
yeah.
to say after it happens.
I know.
You know,
I hear you.
and I don't see it as a trust thing. It's talking heads want to make everything bigger than it is.
Agreed.
And if he dropped it, then it would have been how he was out of shape and he's not
Yes.
playing well and he's going to be in the doghouse. It was one play, and it's 80% luck, however it goes, whether it be an interception or a touchdown. And I don't think it was trust at all. I think Jimmy's a gunslinger. The game was on the line. If we don't score there, we're done. It's game over. We lose. And so I think he forced something a little more than you would if that was the second quarter. I don't think he throws that ball. And I think Pettis did his job, went and got it, and made it happen. It was a great play on every angle.
I think what that does for his confidence
For sure.
is cannot
You
be
could see his
understated.
reaction when he scored.
Oh,
he
yeah.
wanted to say "fuck you" to everybody in that stadium, everybody that was just shitting all over him for poor performance in the preseason, bad press clippings from training camp. Just fuck you.
I was definitely doing the cat. I did
And
it,
even
though.
when he caught it, even to like break the tackle and then still
then
get in the
scoop
end
back
zone.
in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that was still
Yeah.
a big play on two parts.
Baby was pumped. She's like, "Look at him, he danced in and then came back out." I was like,
And that might be the loudest I've heard that stadium
in a while.
in a long. The drive before that, the defensive drive
Yeah,
before that,
yeah.
since that was a Detroit game. When they
Jacksonville.
finally got loud. Jacksonville, yeah.
Yeah. I think that you can say what you want to say, like afterwards, he always busting his ass in practice, always improved a lot, blah, blah, blah. But one thing that you cannot lie about, and it's something that you should always look at, is snap counts. Because how much the coaches play the players tells a lot about what they think of the players. And Dante Pettis was a starter this week.
He started,
and
yeah.
He played a lot more snaps than Debo did, even after Debo had a phenomenal week in Cincinnati. He didn't have a bad week. He had a great week in Cincinnati. So the fact that Pettis was the starter over him, I think, confirms the fact that he has been improving. We are at 43 minutes already. We don't have an opponent next week. So would you guys like to move the defensive breakdown to the second episode?
What's the
Sure.
clock? Yeah, that's fine.
If we're done with the offense and we're going to do the defense next, then we need to do something with the offense, though.
Offensive Beast of the Week?
Steve,
Oh,
Oh, you want to do?
jeez, I was trying to cue
well, you could still do your
our sounder. I was trying to.
So what are you gonna try to get two sounders out of me here? Well, oh my, it's the offensive beast of the week.
I love when I'm writing these up and there's just so many people to list.
Yeah.
Like I'm like I can't leave this one off. I can't leave this one, and nobody's like a standout. This
How
week.
many
This is a good one.
weeks? How many weeks did we have to suffer through where our only good offensive Beast of the Week option was Phil Dawson?
Or George Kittle?
No, like before Kittle.
Oh
Did
yeah,
Phil
of
Dawson.
course.
Like the
course.
Chip Kelly and fucking Tom Sula years. Somebody else go first.
This is a tough one.
Yeah, Chris. Chris wants to do one, and he's motivated.
As long
He
as it's
goes-
not a jet, you can.
Yay.
I don't know what happened in the Jets game. I want to do one that the stats aren't good, but what I noticed, I want to give it to Juszczyk, and because he came in after both other running backs had terrible drops and fumbles, and kind of got the motivation going again on the running game, I think. So I want to give it to him.
His power slam of Minka Fitzpatrick might be the highlight of the fucking week.
A
too.
quick note on that. The reporters asked him about that, and he had fun and he joked, but then he got really serious and said, "No, but seriously, I've been watching George Kittle play football, and he's kind of his style inspires me."
Good.
And like he wasn't like having fun
Yeah.
or joking or anything. Like he's serious. Like this
Good.
dude George Kittle is inspiring players to play like that.
And that play looked like Kittle.
Yes.
The way he
Oh,
flung
yeah,
Fitzpatrick off him.
Good choice, Chris.
Are you going, Robert?
I was leaning that way, but I'm gonna go a different way. And I'm gonna go with Jeff Wilson. Because our red zone conversion this year versus last year and the year before and the year before that and the year before that is single-handedly different because Jeff Wilson has been the hammer inside the red zone. And when we get there, we score touchdowns now.
He's got it done for sure. I am going to give it to Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh, come on.
Why?
Great choice, but how are you not going to give it to your boy?
Who?
Your boy.
Pettis?
Yeah.
He caught 4 balls for 20 yards and a touchdown. It was a great touchdown, but the offensive beast of the week, I'm going to give it to Garoppolo.
You're scared of being accused of being a mark. Just be a mark.
Dude, I am an open mark. You
He has a game-winning touchdown.
That's fine, but that doesn't mean he's the beast of the week. By any fucking means.
I'm sorry, continue.
Yeah, shut your fucking
Also,
pie
if he's
hole.
got strong hands earlier, he probably doesn't have to make that
Right.
game-winning touchdown. Just
Shut
put
your
that
pie
out there.
hole, Steve. Yeah, Garoppolo. Those 2 interceptions weren't his fault. He held it together. He was way more accurate than he's been in past weeks. There was other drop balls. He's going to be the fucking man. And my hat's
Wow,
off.
you're there, huh?
I like it. I like Garoppolo.
All right. No, you said he's going to be the man.
Yeah.
All right. Finally came around.
What about Kyle Shanahan?
You might have been calling for Nick Mullins most recently out of all of us.
I haven't
That's
said,
all.
I haven't said that.
That's all.
I haven't said that.
Yeah, my base of the week goes to Jimmy G.
Fuck you! Fucking Mark.
Oh, that's why he was mad that you didn't pick Pettis. He wanted Jimmy G all to
He's a
himself.
fucking Mark.
Who
man.
doesn't want Jimmy G
He
all to
wanted
themselves?
Jimmy G spot all to himself.
No, there were many of moments in this game where if there was any question of whether he can be or can't be a franchise quarterback, I think he answered them in this game. Franchise quarterbacks stand tall in the pocket.
In his, 12th start?
Yeah, take big hits and throw strikes. And if you heard Kyle Shanahan on KMBR this week on the radio, they were asking him about, do you watch film with anybody specifically? Do you have a confidant that you like to watch film with? How much tape do you usually watch? And blah, blah, blah. Or, out of all of your assistant coaches, who watches the most film? And he answered it. I forget what his answer was. Mike McCoy or something. One of the positional.
McDaniel?
Yeah. What position does he coach?
I don't know.
Yeah, Mike McDaniel. I don't know, whoever that is. And unprovoked, unwarranted, he says Jimmy Garoppolo. Like weren't even talking about players watching film. He says
No, they
Jimmy.
asked him.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, no, they said who. First, they said it was a 2-part question.
Because I thought he was talking about just coaches.
No, they asked a 2-part question. They said which coach and which player.
Okay.
And then he answered McDaniel, and then he came back and said Jimmy G out of all the players though.
Yeah, and I mean, let's not forget Jimmy Garoppolo spent 3.5 years sitting behind Tom Brady and seeing how he does shit.
And that's what he always said about Brady too.
Yeah.
And I know you usually listen to Steve Young, but that's what Steve Young has said makes a difference between having all the talent in the world and being that guy is the studying and he said when you do enough studying, you can see it all and it happens in real time. And it makes perfect sense when you listen to the way Steve Young says it because you've watched it so many times that you see these subtle movements and subtle changes that a player makes and you know what he's going to do because of it. And it's pretty wild.
And I got news for you. Jimmy Garoppolo isn't even a finished product yet.
So do you think, let me ask you this. A lot of franchises, when you think of a franchise, you think of their quarterback. You think of the Miami Dolphins.
In special cases.
No, let me get there.
Okay.
You think of the Miami Dolphins, it's Dan Marino.
Okay.
You think of the Denver Broncos, it's 100% John Elway, right? You think of the Buffalo Bills, it's Jim Kelly. Like there's guys. Giants is probably Eli at this point.
It's got to be.
Right? Colts is probably Peyton. Saints is Drew Brees. You go to someone like Green Bay, and it's Favre and Rodgers. You never say one. It's both. There's no...
Same with Montana and Young.
Exactly. How many franchises have 3 of those guys?
Not many.
I don't think
Nobody,
any.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's only a
Nobody.
couple with 2, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you go to Pittsburgh, you don't even... I mean, sure, there's like old-time guys.
You know, it's
that,
Bradshaw.
Yeah, we don't...
It's Bradshaw
But
and
to me,
Big
it's
Ben.
Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see Bradshaw.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Like, to me, and I can't even think of many with 2.
No, there
Right?
aren't
And
many
with Dallas,
with
it's
2.
Troy with all these teams. Imagine to have 3. Oof.
Horny. It's shit.
I mean, he's got it. It's just a matter of doing it.
The only downside is that Jimmy has 11 career starts and he's already almost
12.
29 years old.
He's 27.
So he's a little bit older
Yes,
than
27.
most guys get
Maybe
their
that's a
start.
win.
27.
Sure.
Because
He's 27.
how old's Brady?
Oh,
42.
42?
Give me 10 more years out of Garoppolo.
Yeah.
I'm pumped.
Yeah.
And maybe being older
27.
and not being young and wild and making bad decisions, maybe it's going to be a win.
Yep.
You know, like maybe look at Mayfield. Like he's going to get beat up before he gets to beat Jimmy's age. You
Yeah.
know? Like these guys, even Dak's going to get his ass kicked before he's Jimmy's age. Jimmy's fresh.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting.
Fresh, baby.
All right,
I mean,
do the thing.
he's not the guy yet, but he's there. He can do it. It's on him.
The thing is, you should email us. Tell us, how old you are when you got your last beating. Goldbloodedpodcast@gmail.com. There's an Instagram run by Mr. Michael Curran. Goldblooded Podcast, one word. There's a Patreon. If you give us some ducats, we're working out some things there. We're working it out. Just bear with us. We're a little slow. Patreon /Goldblooded Podcast, right, Steve?
That's right.
Yeah, Papa. You could give $1 a month, $5 a month, $500 a month, $5,000 a month. We will take it all. It is all appreciated.
You want to hear about the defense? You're going to have to listen to the next episode.
That's right, you fuck sticks. Episode 2 is coming down your throats hot.
Like
in
a
a
hot
day
cock.
in a day or two.
That's right. Bye-bye.